Have you ever felt so nervous before speaking that your mind began to race and wonder, oh, what if I forget what I have to say? What if it's not perfect? It's a common fear for many speakers. But here's the real secret: perfection isn't the goal. In fact, if you try to give a perfect presentation, you will hinder yourself from doing what truly matters when you're speaking, and that is connecting with your audience. I'm Lisa Vanderkwaak. Today, you're going to learn about why aiming for connection over perfection is key to speaking with greater impact and helping your audience take away something of value. By using simple language techniques to create that connection, you're going to learn how to engage your audience and make your message unforgettable. How does that sound? But before I go there, let me share with you how I came to discover this important tip. Now, I'm not exaggerating when I say that I learned this tip the hard way. Maybe you've learned some things the hard way as well, and it just gets embedded in your psyche. But that's why I'm so passionate about passing on these tips to you and helping other impact driven entrepreneurs and speakers like myself avoid the mistakes that cost me, well, you know what? A lot of money and a lot of time. May my long road become your shortcut to becoming a dynamic speaker that not only informs but helps to transform lives. So many years ago, I was invited to speak at an event. And at the time, it was one of my dream stages. Do you have any stages like that you would love to speak on? Maybe there's a certain conference or event where you would share the stage with certain influencers or people that you admire or look up to. Do you have any stages like that? Write in the comments down below and let me know what stages they would be. Well, this was one of those stages for me. I had been a speech language pathologist and I found myself being pushed into speaking for my job and slowly working at overcoming the fact that I was terrified to speak in front of audiences. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you can relate to being pushed towards something that terrifies you. I was also at the time serving as a campus minister, speaking and sharing the gospel. Now, despite my fear, I kept being asked to speak. People would keep asking me to speak. In fact, the people around me, including my husband and other male leaders, saw something in me that I didn't. Others may try to tell you, stick to what you're comfortable with. Don't put yourself in those awkward situations. Maybe you're just not cut out for it. But here's what I learned: courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the triumph over it. That's what Nelson Mandela said, and I believe it. You see, when you know you're called to something, it might feel uncomfortable because you're going past your comfort zone. And really, frankly, unless you go past your comfort zone, you will never grow. So I knew that even though in the natural I was terrified to speak, I knew that I was called and I kept stepping into those opportunities and learning what I could. Well, here was one of those opportunities. But knowing that I needed to actually deliver something of value was putting a lot of pressure on me. I realized that speaking is not about just imparting knowledge, but it's about igniting transformation. So that made me feel more pressure to do a good job, right? Because you know you want your audience to take away something of value that's going to make a difference in their lives. Well, after spending months of preparing my message, I show up at this event to speak, and just moments before I was about to go up on the stage, the event organizer comes over, leans in and whispers in my ear, "Lisa, I'm so sorry, but we are way behind in our schedule. I had to cut your time in half. You only have 30 minutes to speak." What? I screamed. Well, at least inside. What am I going to do? Now, I don't know what you would have done if you were put in that situation, prepared a 60-minute keynote, and then all of a sudden, just moments before you were to get up, they said, "Oh, by the way, you only have 30 minutes. Let me know in the comments if you've ever been in that situation where your time was cut in half and you had to adjust. Well, I didn't really know how to adjust on the fly. But let me tell you, that did do something for me. But I did what most speakers would have done, especially if you are a new speaker. And I was a fairly new speaker. I went onto the stage, I took my notes, and I looked down at them and I spoke as fast as I could to get out all the information that I'd prepared. And when my time was up, I was delighted because I had delivered all the information, all the content that I had prepared. That was until I looked up. My delight soon turned to dread as I realized that I had completely lost my audience. I looked over at the event organizer. She wouldn't even look me in the eyes. I don't blame her. I couldn't even look myself in the eye that day. You see, I wanted to hide under a table. I had completely bombed. I completely failed my audience. I was so focused on delivering content, to getting out the right words that I had prepared, having a perfect presentation, that I missed the most important thing, and that was to connect with my audience. I failed to engage my listeners. Now, let me know if you've ever felt this way. That day, I wanted to just throw in the towel on speaking, say, hey, I'm done. I'm just not cut out for this. I rushed off the stage. I ran out of the event, ready to give up on ever speaking again, and went home and started to wallow in my misery. Well, after a few days of doing that, I decided to reach out to one of my mentors and just saying, what am I going to do? Like, I don't think I'm cut out for this. And I discovered in this conversation that the problem wasn't that I wasn't cut out for speaking, is that my approach to speaking was incorrect. And that I needed to understand that speaking, first of all, was not so much about whether or not I was now naturally talented, because actually it's only 10% talent. Effectiveness in communication is maximum 10% in talent. The rest is 90% skill development. So it wasn't that maybe I wasn't cut out for it. Maybe I needed to learn a few things that I didn't know. I needed to embrace a growth mindset and learn some skills to learn how to engage my audience, how to have a different approach to speaking. You see, I lost my audience that day because I focused more on what I was saying than on what they were receiving. It was all about me and what I had to teach instead of about my audience and what they were taking away. And this is a common mistake that many speakers make. But in that day, as I reflected on this and I listened to my mentor, it became a turning point for me where I made a commitment to learn everything I could about how to become the very best speaker I could, so that not only did I give information, but I would evoke transformation. Have you ever found yourself falling into the trap of focusing so much on getting every word right that you miss the most important job that you have on stage? And that is making a personal connection with your audience, moving the heart of your audience, helping shift them in some way to live a better version of themselves. You see, the truth is your audience doesn't need a flawless performance. They need to feel like are seen. They need to feel like they're understood and engaged with what you're saying. They need to know that you get them. Maya Angelou once said, people will forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And this is so true, even with speaking. Have you ever heard a speaker and felt like, wow, she is talking directly to me? I feel like she's just speaking directly to me, or he is just speaking directly to me. That's because those speakers have learned something that you're about to learn. There's a simple but powerful tool that can help you build that same kind of connection so the audience feels like you are speaking directly to them. It's called you focused language, YOU focused language, where the you is the audience, not you, the speaker, but you, the audience. This technique shifts the spotlight from me, the speaker, to you, the audience, and it makes all the difference. Have you ever started a presentation with something like, today I'm going to share with you 3 points, or I'm here to tell you a story. That's pretty common, right? You've heard many speakers say that, and maybe you've done it. I know I have. But here's what I discovered: your audience isn't really interested in what you're going to say or what you have to say. They care more about what they are going to get from it. What's in it for me is what's in their mind. So, my challenge to you and my encouragement to you to use you focused language, you want to turn it around and say it like this. So, instead of saying, today I'm going to teach you three keys to success, turn it around and say something like this. Today, you will pick up 3 keys to success that could change the trajectory of your life. Do you hear the difference? The focus is on the audience's experiences. You will pick up 3 keys that will change the trajectory of your life, or that will change your approach to you reaching goals. You've shown them they are the priority, and they'll feel that connection right away, as opposed to, I'm going to share with you 3 keys to success that I learned along the way that helped me. You see, in speaking, the word you is your superpower. It is your secret to connecting with your audience in a deeper, more meaningful way. It's called you focus language. As Craig Valentine, one of my mentors, and then 1999 world champion of public speaking in Toastmasters. I've never gone through Toastmasters, but he did. And he was actually my first speaking coach, and is today still a mentor of mine. He says this: it's never about what the speaker gives, it's about what the audience gets. So by keeping your language you focused, you're not just delivering information, you're actually inviting your audience into a transformation. You're inviting your audience to engage with you in your message. So are you ready for a pro tip? There's an important distinction between a hard you and a soft you. The hard you feels like a command, which can make people feel defensive and put up walls. For example, if I said to you, you need to stop procrastinating and start taking action, or you need to stop procrastinating and just start taking action, it feels a bit harsh, right? Contrast that with this. If I say, what would happen in your life if you took action instead of procrastinating? Do you feel the difference? That was a softer you, wasn't it? What it does, it invites you to reflect rather than react, helping the audience feel more engaged and open. Another effective technique is having what's called you-focused check-ins. These are small phrases that you sprinkle throughout your talk to keep your audience engaged and keep connecting. Try saying things like, have you ever felt that way? Or what would you have done in that situation? Do you notice the you focus language? This approach invites your audience to reflect, to connect, and to see themselves in your story and in your message. It turns your presentation into a conversation, an interaction, making your listener feel like they are a part of what you're saying. So here's a quick exercise you can try in your next speech. Think about how you can use you focus language to make the audience feel involved. Rather than saying, I'm going to teach you, turn it around to say something like, you're going to discover. Now, this shift may seem small, but it has a big impact. Let me tell you. If you want to dive deeper into speaking tips that can boost your connection with your audience, I want to invite you to go to speakergift.com and grab my Speak with Impact toolkit. And remember, if you want to stand out as a speaker, it's not about delivering a perfect message. It's about making a real connection with your audience and helping them see what's in it for them. So instead of perfection, instead of perfection, aim for connection. Thank you for tuning in today. Don't forget to subscribe and check out the next video in this series for more tips on mastering your speaking skills. Remember, don't just inform, speak to transform. And your voice is an instrument of transformation and needs to be heard. So let it be heard.